Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's session. It is Thursday, July 27th. Hopefully, you guys have been having a good day so far and ready to get some knowledge going. So, just to give you a little rundown of the schedule for tonight, kind of everything I want to go over. First thing we're going to go over is all the trades we took today. Right? What do we do right? What do we do wrong? Going over, should we have taken this? Should we not have taken this? How do we position ourselves? What should we have done better? And then I want to talk a little bit about that trade that we ended up taking that got stopped out. Again, a lot of you guys banked on that. Thankfully, I'm glad that I took the loss on that one and you guys got to bank on that. We'll talk about that and the emotional side of it, right? Because a lot of it is very frustrating, especially to see a trade like that. Because that's like the worst possible trade that you could have against you, right? Comes up and then you get stopped to a tick and then it sells off 100 points. So we'll talk about that, talking about the process of the psychological battle and some certain things that I think not a lot of people talk about, and I wanna help you guys out with that. So we're gonna talk about that, and then we'll end off the session going over my bias going into tomorrow. So let's jump in here, looking at ES and NQ. Now, going into the day, I did have a little bit of a neutral bias. I was a little bit more bullish than I was bearish, and the reason why is, for me to have a validated bearish bias, I needed to see these fair value gaps get ran through, because really there's nothing here to the side that's showing me that wants to be the draw. We have this big 4-hour fair value gap right here, as well as this nice 1 hour. And going into the day, I was expecting to probably come down, maybe sweep this low, bounce off this fair value gap, and then bounce back to the upside. But if we ended up breaking through this fair value gap and breaking all these imbalances here, in displacing back inside this range, because we just swept buy side and we were forming a 4-hour fair value or 4-hour SMT. You can see on NQ we never even ended up taking that high. So big SMT, that's what caused that sell off potentially. But looking at ES, I needed to confirm my a bearish bias by seeing that fair value get ran through. So going into the morning, I still was a little bit more bullish. We came down on ES, looking on NQ as well. I was looking at these lows. We had these lows here, and when I started to see us bouncing off of these fair value gaps, these imbalances right here, you can see all of these lows have now been swept. We start getting displacement to the upside, and I ended up taking a very, very early entry, early and late. And the reason is because this first trade that I ended up taking, looking back, I should not have taken it whatsoever, and that was this right here. Coming back up, we ended up sweeping all these sell side levels. We're bouncing off this bigger time frame fair value gap. When we get this move up, I'm initially looking to long somewhere here. In this fair value gap, I'm looking to somewhere long here, and then we get this big move up. And I think I was just too married to a long bias, and I ended up having a really bad long in this fair value gap, just expecting to see a straight up price. And I think is because we had, a pretty straight down move to the upside. I wanted to see a straight up move right back to the upside. Exactly. There's no break of structure. That's why it wasn't a good trade. It was just a chasing trade. I wanted to see, it was fine risk, but I wanted to see a continuation to the upside, should try to catch it. Ended up getting stopped out on here. We ended up coming down. Again, still long at this point. We come down. We sweep this here. We end up getting structure shift to the upside. But again, still no really break of structure here. Right? We still never even cleared this high, and yet I still decided to take a long here. So here, we end up coming up, pulling back into this inverse fair value gap, and I decided to take a long, and I get stopped out somewhere down here. Now, what would the actual long be for me to take any sort of trade here? It would have to be right here, and I'll tell you why. We come down, we bounce off that bigger time frame fair value gap, we sweep internal liquidity, we get instant pushback to the upside, right? So we're automatically showing a nice buy. We have an inverse fair value gap. Notice we break above this. What do I expect? To probably pull back to discount of whatever this range is. We come back to the fair value gap, and I'm not even looking to long here yet. I'm not looking to long here yet. But when we come down, continue to consolidate. Notice no candle close below this. Boom. Displacement to the upside. We get an internal break of structure. This would be our break of structure. Bouncing off of that fair value gap, and we get a 1-minute fair value gap created right here. This is when you get that prime long. This would be the best possible long you could have taken, targeting that recent high. And again, today I was just a little bit too impatient. I was too married to the bias. I was expecting bigger moves, especially coming out from FOMC, expecting to see bigger moves, especially with this morning sell-off. But I ended up just being a little bit too impatient, and I think I took just some wrong setups today, and I was a little bit too biased. So, even this was long. It wasn't even that I was too biased. It was more of just not patient enough to get everything that I wanted to see. And then the trade that ended up signing the deal is this NQ trade and this ES trade. So when we get this big displacement to the downside, looking at a bigger time frame, NQ's bouncing off this bigger time frame fair value gap. We get big displacement to the downside. This would now be considered our market structure shift. So if we're going to go lower now, what do we expect to see? Well, I zoom out. We have this 15-minute fair value gap right here. And I'm expecting us to pull back to here, which is OTE. And then I'm looking to see a potential sell-off. Now, looking at ES, we saw the exact same thing. We came up. We had a 15-minute fair value gap. But looking at ES, we actually swept all these equal highs here. We had 3 equal highs, 4, 5, boom, ends up breaking it. And then we get nice displacement to the downside here, right? We get nice displacement. Can I take this out? There we go. We get nice displacement. We pull back to this fair value gap. Again, A+ short. Looking at NQ, same exact thing. We come up. We get market structure shift to the downside, right? A lot of displacement. We pull back to that fair value gap in discount. And we end up getting a nice rejection going all the way to sell side. Absolutely beautiful trade. Now, unfortunately, looking at ES, I entered off this. I should have taken it on NQ, and I do want to talk about why. I mentioned it in the video, but the reason I should have taken this on NQ is because you can tell it was a lot weaker based off of how close it was to sell side. If you look at NQ right here, this low on ES and NQ, look how close we were when we first, on this initial move to the downside, to taking this low, right? We were 5 ticks away. On ES, we were a lot farther away from taking this initial sell side than we were on NQ. So if we have to think about it in that sense, we know that if NQ retraces the discount, ES is going to retrace further on its chart because NQ has more room to go to the upside. So even if NQ retraces and doesn't get it here, ES can still come up and possibly sweep this and form SMT at those highs. Now, I literally got stopped out to the tick on this. And right when I got stopped out and I saw the initial rejection, I knew I got stopped on it. And I was looking to re-enter. But this time I was looking to re-enter on NQ. Right when we got this fat candle to the downside, I try to stay patient. And again, the reason after taking 3 losses, it's like, fuck, I'm automatically more hesitant to get in. Even though, I'm confident in the sell-off now. We just had a massive rejection. But I'm even more patient now because it's like, all right, I can't lose now. And then I'm waiting for this fair value gap to get met to me to enter, and I never ended up getting the re-entry, and we ended up just flushing all the way to my price target. Now, this is a hard trade to take. It is a hard trade. It's frustrating. And this is what I want to talk about, is this kind of cycle. This happens. It happens. Whether you want it to or not, it'll always happen here and there. Now, what can we do to protect ourselves? Protect ourselves from what, you might ask? Well, a lot of the time, guys, that I'm sure if every person in this chat took this trade, and I'm sure some of you got stopped with me, some of you made money on this trade today, depending if you took ES or NQ. Whether you made money or not, you can all agree that if you got stopped on this trade, you would be fucking furious. Like, you would be pretty fucking pissed off, right? And the one thing we have to remember, too, is going into the day, having 2 losing trades in the morning, and then taking a setup like this, and getting stopped on it, taking 3 losses, knowing this would have just made back all of your losses and more, that fucking is hard to take mentally. It's hard. And there's not a single trader, actually there probably is, but I will admit, I'm not trying to cover it up, guys. Every trader will have emotional times, and this is one of those times. When you have losses in the morning and you are, thinking about making it back, right? You shouldn't be. You're thinking about taking good setups. You get a good setup. You take the short. You take the opportunity. You get stopped to the tick, and then it just goes straight to your price target, right? It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to take. It gets frustrating. And the worst part is you start looking at everybody else's trades. You look at everybody in the Discord. You look at, oh my God, they're fucking banking. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I got stopped out. Everyone's like, W's, 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 right? It's hard, right? Everybody understands what I'm saying, right? You all get it. Now, I want to talk about getting through this, because again, this only one day. It's one day in your journey. It's literally one trade. If you're following good risk management, it's not going to blow you up. It's just frustrating. That's all it is. And you have to be able to stop yourself from making bad decisions based off of the market just being unlucky. That's all it is. Because a lot of you guys, how many of you guys would take this trade and then immediately try to make that money back, like just off tilt, just tilt trade? I bet a lot of you guys will tilt trade after taking that stop loss, because it's just how it is. When you get stopped so many times and you see a trade like this go in your favor, you take it so personally. You take it like there's a market maker behind the screen going to your stop loss just to fuck you over. Like, you take it like it's that personal, you know? And you get so emotional, so stressed and so frustrated that you end up spiraling down this hole, and by the end of the day, your fucking account's gone because you do not know when to recognize and how to recognize your own emotion. So the biggest thing I want to take away from days like this, and I want you guys to take away from days like this, is one of the biggest things I want you guys to focus on in your trading journey is being able to recognize and act when you feel yourself having certain emotions coming on when trading. Because there's a lot of people that go into the morning, they, aren't confident with what the draw is. They're not liking price action. There might be a little bit stressed. Their evaluation's about to get liquidated, whatever it is, and you just, you feel stressed, or you're trading on a live account. You don't want to lose money. You feel stressed, and you can feel it. You're fucking feeling it. You know that you're feeling anxious. You're feeling, having a little bit of anxiety. Why would you put a trade on knowing that you are in the wrong emotional circumstances, in the wrong emotional conditions to have quality trades? You know that you're not feeling the best, so why put you at a lower possibility or low probability for having success? Again, you have to treat trading like a business. We're not here to just click a bunch of buttons and have fun. We're trying to make this a reality, right? You guys are trying to make this a reality. Change your lives from this. You have to treat it like a business. You would never invest money into something when you're not in the right headspace, right? You would never. So why are you doing that? The biggest thing I want you to recognize is when you are in trades, when you are not in trades, when you're just watching the market, when you're down on trades, when you just took a loss in the morning, whether you're up, every single situation that you are trading where you feel either euphoric, you feel devastated, all of the highs and lows is when you need to immediately shut off the fucking computer, because that's the most dangerous time, because you're going to end up making a very, very dumb decision, and you're going to regret it 5 seconds later saying, Justin, what the fuck did you just do? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, there's no fucking way I just did that. And I know all you guys have been there, and trust me, I've been there as well. I've been trading for 4 fucking years. I've been through literally all of it. That's why I'm trying to help you guys and get through it, because trust me, I've been there. There's been days. Again, that's why discipline is so important. Being able to step away. Because for me, when I first started trading, there was days where I would be fucking killing it. I would be on like a 3-week green streak, just go, I would think I'm the shit. I would, I can't fucking lose. And I would come in one day. All it takes is one fucking day for me to not follow my rules, not be disciplined. I have a loss in the morning, and it spirals into fucking 5 losses that are all over leveraged, and all of my progress in the last 3 months, if not more, is all wiped out in a single day. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced that. Now, thankfully, that doesn't happen to me anymore. Hopefully, cross my fucking knock on wood. Hopefully, I have the discipline to do so. But you get to a point where you know that there's no other way of being successful than to having good size, good risk management, having patience, having discipline. There is no other way to be successful. You're not going to be successful just fucking over leveraging, taking every single trade you take without waiting. All it's going to do is build bad habits, and you're just going to build false confidence with lucky trades. And all of the times that you end up getting successful, that one time where you're over leveraged, you've been building such bad habits, you're just going to get absolutely fucking wrecked. And then you're going to be like, what happened? My strategy's broken. Motherfucker, you never had a strategy to begin with that was actually good. All right? Because you've been building such bad habits over time. And that's the whole point of this community and this Discord. And when we do these charting sessions, because I get to fucking yell at you guys. And trust me, it's out of love. Because when I do these sessions, I'm yelling at myself. This is me yelling at myself, right? Which is yelling at you, all right? Because I've been through all of this shit, right? This is literally me just telling to myself when I would go through this shit, right? So I'm here. I want you guys to succeed. And when we fail, I'm the first one to tell you when I'm failing, right? Because I want to go over this because this is something that we can all learn from, not just me, right? I don't care to hide losses from you guys. Like, I'm not here to, sell you a fucking, a dream or a reality. I'm here to actually make that dream come true. And if we're here to make that dream come true, you have to be able to recognize mistakes, recognize what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and actually learn how to fix it. And a lot of those things that people don't want to talk about is not just the right and wrong, but what is the reaction of those right and wrongs? How are you reacting emotionally based off of those right and wrongs, especially real time? Like real time, right when you take that trade. Like, for example, guys, today, I'm not going to lie, I was very, very frustrated after that loss. I was fucking pissed. Not only for myself, but for you guys. I don't want to alert. I get pissed at myself when I alert 3 losses with you guys. Because, again, there's a lot of people in the chat, that rely on me to, I teach and all that stuff. And I don't want to give you guys shit calls. So, thankfully, some of you guys made the money. But I'm not only mad at that, but I get frustrated, right? So, what did I do? I recognized, I was like, Justin, you're way too heated right now. I already decided right in that moment, I'm like, all right, I'm not trading the rest of the day. Been here before. Calling it there right when I can recognize that emotion, I'm automatically calling it. And I'm like, all right, I'm fucking out of here. More charts are off. Discord's off. Don't care. I go outside. I recognize I'm not in the right headspace. And I meditate for 20 minutes. Completely clears the mind. And I'm fine afterwards. And I'm like, I get to relax, clear my headspace, forget about it, and realize, dude, it's just one fucking trade. It's literally just one day. I didn't even hurt myself that bad. I could have blown my eval. I could have blown an account. But instead, I took a couple losses. I lost some money. And that's fine. If you start taking it so personally, you're going to end up building such bad habits by this. Because this is going to stick with you for so long. This should not stick with you then for more than fucking until your price target's hit and you're like, unlucky. All right, let's keep looking, right? Like, it's that, and no, it sounds hard, but trust me, you need to get to that point. And if you can't get to that point, then take more time until it goes away. Like, for example, right when we started the charting session, one of the first messages I saw in the chat was, or like, today would have been better if I didn't get stopped out on that trade. Like, bro, what the, that, like, when this stuff happens, you can't let this weigh on you and like sit with you for more than it should. Because all it's going to do is you're going to bring this into tomorrow thinking about this trade and you're like, I need to fucking make this back. I lost 3 yesterday. Anything that happened the previous day should absolutely be wiped from your fucking head going into the next day. It should be journaled. You should have learned from it. But the exact specific thing should be absolutely gone from your head. I don't know how many losses I took yesterday. I don't know how many wins I took. Today's a fresh day, fresh action. I'm going to come in, follow my rules. And when you consistently do that every single day, walking into the market, following your rules, having good risk management, having good discipline, over time, even if you are taking losses like this, over time, you will learn to be successful. You'll know what you're looking for. Again, gaining experience with price action, understanding where price wants to go. Sometimes it's harder to read than other times, right? Okay, what do you do in that times when it's hard to read? Nothing. You watch. You gain experience. You learn. If you're going to take a trade, try it on a paper trade, right? And then you can start building confidence like that. Because again, you want to build confidence. That is the number one thing you should be focused on. Not making money. You should not give a fuck about making money right now. Especially if you're first year, 2 years into trading, you should not give a fuck about making money. You should focus on building confidence and becoming an absolute monster trader. When you can learn the actual craft and the art and master it, it's going to be so much easier to apply money after that. Like, don't do what I did where I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I put a bunch of money in and I lost it all when I first started trading. Learn to actually trade first, be profitable on a paper trade, be profitable on an evaluation, and then fund yourself and actually put risk on the table. Because if you don't, you're going to end up hurting yourself before you've even fucking started. You're so early into this journey. Why are you hurting yourself financially? And then all that does is just add more stress on you because it's like, oh, I have to make this work now because I just lost all this fucking money. Understand? So take your fucking time. Please take your time. The market is not going anywhere. You have plenty of time. Focus on mastering your craft every single day. Test things. Say, Justin, look at this trade. And even if I say, hey, I didn't really like this, tell me why you thought it was a good trade. Don't say, hey, Justin, hey, look at this trade. Was it good? No, I want you to tell me why you took that trade, what gave you the confidence, what are you testing? Why did you take this? I'm not going to tell you if it was a good trade. I want to hear what you said, and I want to see your data. Because, hey, sometimes what you think is a good trade, I might think is a bad trade. That doesn't mean anybody in that conversation is right or wrong. Because you might have conviction or data saying that, hey, that setup is, pretty good. But from my experience, it might, not be, because I just haven't looked at it that much. So those are things we want to pay attention to as well. That's why I always say, take trades on your own. You do not need me. Learn to take trades on your own. Trust me. My whole thing here is I want you to be self-sufficient. The more that you are gaining experience by yourself and not having me hold your hand with you, the more that you are actually going to see growth and progress as a trader. Because you're constantly actually making decisions based off yourself. You're making your own decisions, meaning you're building confidence with your strategy. You're gaining experience based off of, decision making. You're knowing what's right. You're knowing what's wrong. You know what's, working for you. You know what's not working for you. Instead of blindly taking alerts, not knowing why I'm entering anything, and then get stopped and then get upset, while you're losing because you have no clue why I'm even taking a trade, right? So I'm thankful to everybody that comes at least to these charting sessions, because most people don't even come to the charting sessions. So for the people that are here, you automatically want it more than a lot of other people, and I respect that. But going into the rest of your career, the rest of your trading journey, I want you to be focused on not making money. Trust me, I'm here to help you. And trust me, the money will come. The money will come. It came for me. The more that you focus on actually learning, gaining experience, failing is okay. Failing means that you're actually trying and you're actually improving. Okay? Listen to that again. If you are not failing, that means you're not fucking trying. All right? So it's probably a good thing. So going into the rest of your journey, days like this, they're going to happen. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get anxious. And it's going to be hard for you to control your emotion. Now, I'm not going to lie. This was probably the most emotional or most frustrating day I've had in trading in a long time. Normally, I'm really good on emotion. Like you guys see me in the live sessions. I'm not very emotional. Even when I got stopped out, it's just, I get stopped. All right, move on. But, that specific trade, it ticked me off a little bit, right? So I recognize it. I step away and I come back with a fresh head. Understand? All right. Justin, how much did you make last year? Last year, I made around 320K. Could you make a video on how to know which index is stronger and where we should enter the trade? I'm confused when I focus on the two indices at the same time. I don't know where to put the trade. Wait, Justin, could you make a video on how to know which index is stronger and where should we enter the trade? I'm confused on one. Yeah, I can make a video, but again, a lot of that is just experience, brother. It's all price action, just understanding to read price action. Like I said, just looking at this, the way I said which one's closer to sell side at this specific time, right? Like looking at this low here. Looking at this specific point in time, I know that if NQ retraces to here, that means that ES is going to retrace a lot higher because NQ is a lot closer to sell side than ES is, right? So ES is going to retrace a lot farther than NQ will, if that makes sense. Again, a lot of it's just that you just got to gain experience watching price action. Yeah, again, summer months as well. That's why, again, this whole year, I've been a lot lower size so far. And I plan to up my size later in the year. I upped it a little bit, a month ago. It, went all right, and then we had that losing week, and then I, downed it again. But this, I haven't, been trading with as much size as I normally have been. And because, again, I'm focused on building confidence. I'm not focused on making money. I'm focused on mastering my strategy. When I have that confidence, that is when I apply risk. Everybody listen to this. Think about this logically. What is the smartest thing that you could possibly do? If you have been failing, if you've been getting stopped out the last couple of weeks, do you think it's best to put on more size to try to make that money back? Fuck no. Because you have no conviction, you have no confidence, you've just been losing. Why would you add more size now, right? So no, I take my size back. I regain that confidence. Wait for me to get the consistency. Wait for me to adapt to conditions, understand what's working, understands what's not working. And when I can build that confidence back and I have confidence with it, I can up my size again and take advantage of that confidence and understanding of price action. But when I'm in a phase where you are losing, you don't have confidence with your edge, why would you up your size? It makes no sense. You're just setting yourself up for failure at that point. What's been your best month? My best month last year was November. So the end of the year I like, and also the beginning of the year. Ending in the beginning of the year. Justin, I've been training for around a year, but I still have one of those days that I completely destroy my rules like today. I literally bought a funder today and blew it an hour. I don't know what else to do. I feel like I just go retarded. Dude, I've been there, brother. I know. It's hard. Trust me. But the more that you just got to realize there's no, again, if I'm being completely honest, the way that I learned is I just had to get slapped 1,000 fucking times. That's just how I am. I am a very, very stubborn person. It took me 2.5 years to become profitable. And it was 2.5 years of me getting slapped in the fucking face for me to realize, hey, Justin, it's not going to fucking work, buddy, if you're, not doing this, and this. And then you get to a point where it's like, all right, I literally have no other choice but to build the discipline to do what needs to be done. There's no other way that you're going to be a successful trader if you do not have an insane level of discipline and you don't know how to wait, you don't know how to be patient, and you don't know how to step away. You're never going to be successful if you don't know how to do those things. Justin, I have one question. How do you know when you're married to your trade bias and re-entering a bad trade versus re-entering a trade because you were right? Like example, sometimes I hear you say you're going to re-enter, and I don't know if that's a good question. Yeah. So re-entering, in my opinion, isn't married to your bias. Married to your bias means that you're taking consecutive trades after one another, but not like re-entering. Re-entering is like right after, because that's like right when you get stopped. Like right when I get stopped, I can then validate like this, like for example, like this specific example, right? Looking at ES and I'm looking at NQ, when I see us come up and we touch this high and then have this fat candle, and I see NQ respecting this fair value gap, ES respecting this fair value gap, this obviously shows to me that was probably a stop hunt, and my initial bias is still validated. And then I can be like, all right, I can re-enter, right? But what is a married to the bias would be, hey, this ends up breaking through, NQ, comes up, we end up taking the high, and then I look to reshort this. We come up, take this high, and then I look to reshort it. And then I end up getting stopped again. And then we take another high, and then I look to reshort this. Like, off that initial stop, I should have understood that, hey, we just ran through that fair value gap. That means we're probably going to go higher, right? So that is when I would more look like that is more married to the bias. So if you are married to the bias, another thing I also want to say is if you find yourself, thinking that you might be over biased, take off all your drawings, right? Again, like we always say, take off everything on the chart and do a top-down analysis and see if you get the exact same bias. And hey, if you don't have a strong bias, don't fucking do anything. If it's not clear to you, then don't touch it. Just watch. You don't got to be in a trade every second. To be honest, I don't really know how people blow fundeds in one day. Tilt. Over leverage. Here in this group, I believe we should all stop asking about money. How much did you make? How much is the best day? How much is blah, 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 blah. Fuck money. Ask about a move in the chat that shows you're actually looking at the chart. Exactly. I agree as well. Hey, because I've told this story in the past, but I used to have a buddy who had a 300K year and literally lost all of it in one day. Literally one day. $300,000 in one day. Because, hey, he didn't have the discipline. So guess what? Do I really care if you made $300,000 gambling? Fuck no. I really do not care, because that tells me you're a shit fucking trader and you're not going to last this in the long run. I could see somebody make $1 million and I could look at their trading and say, hey, this guy's going to lose fucking everything, because looking at how he trades, this guy has no risk management. He's impatient. He's undisciplined. This guy's going to eventually lose it all. It's just how it works. So when you're focused on making money, you end up building bad habits. When you focus on building good habits, you're gonna make money. Justice, I'm in this for the long term, and made my main goal is avoiding 9 to 5. I'm 20 in college, but is it bad that I have a material goal like a new car, something that? No. Let it motivate you. Let those things motivate you. Again, motivation is going to be different for everybody. Whether it be a new car, a house, freedom for your friends and family, the freedom to travel wherever you want, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Whatever motivates you, use it to push yourself. Use those goals. Could you talk about trend days because the pullback to fair value gaps seem to continue into premium? Those ranging days seem to only work best for ICT. Could you go through an example? Could you talk about trend days because the pullbacks to fair value into premium? I'm a little bit confused on the question. Do you mean again? Wait, hold on. Coming to premium, these ranging days seem to only work best for ICT. Not at all. It just seems like it because every bearish fair value gap gets disrespected or gets respected when we're in a trend, right? Like if we're in a trend, we pull back to bearish fair value gap, it gets respected. Pull back to bearish fair value gap, it gets respected. Come back, bearish fair value gap gets respected. Come up, past bearish fair value gap gets respected. Like that's just how it is in a trend, right? That's why we have a scout model. Have you ever tried swing trading? Yes, I hate it. Justin, why don't you take NQ shorts instead of ES in the PM session? I already said why. Was there a scout model? I haven't checked. Let me see if there was. So again, what do we need for scout model? First thing, SMT. And again, that's already when the trend has continued. But hey, today's action was really good though. I liked the action because we actually had some correlation. We had correlating markets today. That took that high. ES took that high. Nothing there. You could have looked again. There's no really SMT here. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken that. It would be great if there was an SMT there, and that would have been A+. But doesn't look like we had any scout model today. Everything was on point. There was pretty much full correlation today. My funded is in 3.5% drawdown. I'm so fucking scared to put on a trade. My demo trades are mostly right, but I just shit my pants if I see price moving. Again, it's just gonna take experience. You get again when you're early on, you're gonna get scared. You're gonna have you're gonna get anxiety. You're gonna be stressed. You're not gonna have confidence. That's why you don't put a large amount of risk on the table, right? And just focus on building confidence, testing trades. Do it on a paper trade account. Test trades, test ideas, build confidence with it. Justin, I feel like the only thing that works for me is to only trade the first macro of the day. If I win, lose, or don't trade, I walk away. But I haven't been doing that because I see you trade PM and stuff, and it has low-key been messing me up. What should I do? Dude, do what works for you. Do not look at me. Again, every trader is different, guys. This is why journaling is so important. Because every person's journal that you trade is going to be completely different to somebody else's. You need to adapt yourself. You need to stop giving a fuck what everybody else is doing. Block out the noise. You should not care what I do. You should not care what your partner does. You care what anybody else in this Discord does. If you look at your journal and say, "Hey, my win rate and the AM is fucking spot on, but my PM not good. I'm the most consistent when I trade the first macro. Okay, just trade the first macro then. Don't do anything else. Okay." Don't give a fuck if I'm trading PM. Don't give a fuck if somebody else is trading PM. Do what works for you and stop caring about what other people do. Block out the fucking noise. Do you ever think of becoming an investment banker? Fuck no. First time hearing this and I'm mind blown. You here to build good habits, not money. Yep. Because good habits is going to make you money. And when you're focused on making money, all it's going to do is build bad habits. Yeah, it's one step for your reset. How do you manage that trade on ES? It looks like it disrespects the bearish for value and flips bullish after you would enter. Sure, you can look at NQ, but do you ignore those closed candles? Again, inverse gets, again, if I'm looking at an inverse here, this holds, right? If we just broke this fair value gap and this becomes inverse, this would hold. It doesn't. It gets absolutely ran through. So this is telling me that the bearish fair value gap still ended up playing out. And again, I'm also looking at this as well, right? I'm looking at this bullish fair value gap. If this ends up holding, I might end up, be bullish. But again, seeing this absolutely get ran through, that's telling me the draw easily becomes whatever that recent low is first. Right? Again, what's being respected, what's being disrespected. I like that, Manny. If you can work a day job for 2 weeks and put in 80 hours to get that paycheck, then you can wait 80 hours to take a payout from an account. Be patient and stop forcing plays. All right, let's talk about what we're going to be looking at going into tomorrow. Clean up the chart a bit here. All right. So, first thing, looking at ES first. End up taking this low. Again, what do I want to see? I want to see displacement through this low. So I want to see a little bit more to the downside. I'd like to see us come back into these fair value gaps going into tomorrow on ES. But we did just sweep this buy side level. So we could end up getting a bounce. But looking at this action, I honestly would expect to probably come up, maybe come back up here, and then look to possibly see lower. ES is a little bit harder to read, in my opinion. NQ, though, we came up, respected this 4-hour inverse fair value gap as well as this mat. We had a big daily fair value gap here, right? Big daily fair value gap, instantly rejected, right? Huge rejection. What is this telling us? Just by looking at this daily, what do you think the draw is? Easily becomes this, right? So this low is obviously the draw in liquidity going into tomorrow, and this is what I want to see get taken. So in the overnight session, I would actually really like to see us come back up here. If we could come back to discount of this range and then look to take a short, targeting that sell side level, that's going to be the best possible trade that we could take tomorrow. So looking at where we are right now, discount lines up here, OTEs in that fair value gap. I would like to see us come back, retrace up in the overnight session going into tomorrow. But I'm honestly probably not expecting that to happen. Looking at this action, I probably expect us to do this in the overnight session, if I'm being completely honest. I'm expecting this. Probably something like that. And so if I wake up tomorrow and this is what happens, right? I have to notice that, number one, we're in a daily fair value gap. We have past support from all these highs right here, right? And I do want to be careful taking any more shorts after this. But also, bigger time frame wise, if we get displacement through this level, this could be big. This could be big because, hey, we just swept this high. We get big displacement back down on a daily fair value gap, rejecting this. If we can break through this low, that's going to be our market structure shift on a bigger time frame. And I could definitely expect to see a lot lower prices in the coming month if we can get another big sell-off day. So I am bearish going into tomorrow on NQ and ES. We'll see what happens in the overnight session. But yeah, any last questions, guys? What do you do if you find a great setup on the 15-minute, like breaker structure, displacement, pullbacks for like, but you can't find a setup on a smaller 5 or 1 minute chart? What do you do? Enter with lower size and use your same stop as you would on a bigger time frame. Much love, guys. Means a lot, guys. I'm glad that you enjoy these sessions. Again, charting sessions are probably my favorite time of day because I get to just go off, and this is where a lot of the real knowledge is, and I hope that you guys get a lot out of these sessions. Thanks for reinstilling hope in my journey. Of course, one of the best sessions yet. Really enjoyed it. Much love. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Wait. All right, I'm waiting. Replay? Nah, we won't do a replay session tonight. I'll let everybody enjoy their night. Yeah, go replay yourself if you want to do a replay session. All right, guys. Enjoy your night. I love you guys. Great session. Again, shit happens. Keep your head up. Keep working hard and make it happen. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.